Today we are going to see Naruto and Sakura become the chosen heroes of a cross-dimensional prophecy. Let's get started. The doors boomed as they came to a stop within the stone walls housing them. The light from outside filled the inner chamber, but the light from the 3 jewels he had obtained still blinded him. Link, you have to hurry. Time's up. A tiny voice cried. He looked up at a light hovering around his head. I know Navi, I know. The boy, Link, slowly made his way to the doorway. The door of time may stand open, but after all he'd been through lately, he wasn't ready to take a chance yet. Dwarfed still further by the massive stones, he peered into the room that he had just unlocked. He saw a dais. And a sword. A beam of sunlight from outside shone down on the blade, giving it an even more mystical feel. So that's the Master Sword. Link breathed. Slowly, he climbed the steps to the pedestal in which the sword rested. He fingered the hilt, feeling the cold metal under his fingertips. His fingers wrapped around the grip, tightening firmly. With a deep breath, he yanked on the blade. It didn't move. He tried again. Nothing. Frustrated, he planted his feet and put both hands around the sword. With a mighty pull, the blade came free. At first, nothing happened. Then he heard a whisper all around him. Whirling around, he saw nothing. Link, something's happening, Navi murmured. Wisps of energy began fading in and out around him. They gathered in a circle, orbiting him. The time stream. Link, you're seeing the time stream, Navi exclaimed. The energy became more and more solid and rotated faster. It started closing in around him. Nervous, he looked for a way out of the circle, and found none. Taking a step back, he accidentally hit the edge of the circle of temporal energy. It grabbed him, flowing over his body. Gra! He screamed, pain unimagined flowing through him. He was being ripped apart by the force of time itself. Link! Navi cried, helpless as the boy started to dissolve. With a final agonizing scream, he was gone, and the Master Sword fell to the ground. Hey! A dark voice chuckled. The fairy whirled around, seeing a dark figure framed by the stone. G. Ganondorf. She wailed. Foolish child. You couldn't handle the power of the Triforce if you tried. The evil man strode to the dais, and reached for the sword. As his fingers brushed the hilt, a spark of energy knocked him back. So. The sword of evil's bane indeed. The king of thieves smirked. This curse I lay on the blade, that it shall not be held save by one who holds the same power as that boy. He laughed to himself. For he was destined to grasp the Triforce, obviously. Whichever part he would hold, that fate passes to a new keeper. Only they can hold the sword now. The Gerudo lifted his hand, and a doorway appeared behind the pedestal. Now. To claim my destiny. He went through the door and vanished. No. Not again. The boy cried to himself. Voices pierced the air around him. Get back here. You can't run forever. You'll pay for your sins, brat. The boy sobbed as he ran for his life. Why was it like this? What had he done to these people to make them hate him so? There he is. Get him. Awah! He screamed, dashing down a side alley. The street he had left had filled with people. Most of them following their small quarry. Come on. No escape for him now. They were right. He came face to face with a dead end. His eyes darted frantically to the walls around him, but there was nothing to climb. He started to turn back, to take a different route, but a stone smacked him in the head. Dazed, he fell to the ground, his hand over the bleeding wound. The crowd had caught him. Now, you'll pay. For everyone you killed, you monster. Unable to think straight, he cried out, what did I do to you? Tell me, please. I'm sorry, just don't hurt me anymore. The people laughed coldly. What a thing for a beast like you to say. You'll be sorry, all right. A knife flashed through the air, piercing the arm he held up. The boy screamed, clutching his new wound with his other hand. The crowd drew closer, like sharks who reacted with the smell of fresh blood. The boy cowered away. No more. Please, don't, he sobbed. His plea went unheard, as weapons of all kinds made contact with his young body. From the basic baseball bats, sticks, stones, and hammers, to the deadly blades, daggers, and swords. He was bruised, beaten, broken, and cut. All without mercy, without remorse. The nightmare of it all was that he would never pass out, not until it was over. He felt everything that hit him. His screams went unheeded, for no one would help him. A new pain, a burning on his hand. His eyes widened. Not ninja, not again. They hurt even worse. The pain grew, and he screamed more from it than anything else. A blinding light started coming from his body, and the mob stepped back, afraid. His hand was glowing a bright gold, and a shape started appearing on the back of it. Fearing an attack from the thing they had just beaten, the mob fled, leaving the broken boy alone at last. His eyes, slowly dimming out, saw what was forming on the back of his hand. A triangle made of 3 smaller triangles. One of them was glowing gold, the other 2 were shadows. Faces floated in front of his mind. Dotted names with them. 3 of them he didn't know, but one was quite familiar to him. Sakura-chan, he thought before passing out. Sakura, are you finished your lunch yet? Almost. Okawa-san, she called back. Sakura turned back around in her chair and sighed. She really didn't want to go shopping. She hated it. The other girls would be there, making fun of her forehead. Ino wouldn't be there, to shut them up. Dutifully, she finished her lunch and went outside. Her mother was waiting. Come on honey, we need to get you some new clothes if you are going to start at the academy next week. Yes Okawa-san. The shop was downtown, so it was a fair walk. As they traversed the streets, she could hear some of the girls snickering around her. She hung her head. Things weren't going to change anytime soon. She heard angry shouting up ahead, so she looked up to see what the commotion was about. Just in time, because a black and blonde blur whizzed by her and ducked down an alley behind them, screaming. Naruto-kun. Sakura stammered. Was that terrified blur really the same kind boy that helped her smile the tears away every day? Why? A large crowd of angry people followed him. Obviously not meaning well for him. She started to follow, worried, but her mother took a strong grip on her hand. Confused, Sakura looked up at her mother. Sakura, have you been hanging around with that boy? She demanded, frowning. Why yes. Naruto-kun talks to me every time I see him. When I'm crying, he makes me smile. Her mother sighed. She knew that the boy was not a reincarnation of the fox, and was a sweet boy. But her daughter would be stigmatized if she continued to be seen with him. Sakura, you can't see him anymore. Sakura was shocked. Her mother had never told her anything like that before. But Okawa-san, why? He didn't do anything wrong, did he? No. And that's the sad thing, isn't it? The elder Haruno muttered to herself. Sakura, please listen. If you hang around that boy, you'll get in trouble. Sakura shook her head violently. I don't care. Naruto-kun is my friend. I'm happy when I'm around him. Her mother's heart ached with this. She hated the need to do this to them both. But she had to protect Sakura. I'm sorry, but there's no room to argue. It's final. Sakura started to say something, but a strange burning on her hand distracted her. Her mother noticed her staring at her hand. Sakura, what is it? She started to speak, but all that came out was a March 13th, 3:36 p.m. I'm sorry, but there's no room to argue. It's final. Sakura started to say something, but a strange burning on her hand distracted her. Her mother noticed her staring at her hand. Sakura, what is it? She started to speak, but all that came out was a hiss of pain as the burning doubled in intensity. Sakura read out. It felt as if her hand was on fire. Sakura. A glow surrounded the burning hand, and Sakura passed out from the pain. Sakura. Her mother cried, catching her daughter before she fell to the ground. Staring at the hand, she saw something take form. 3 triangles, forming a larger triangle. 2 of them were dark, and one of them was halfway filled with gold. She paid it no mind and picked her daughter up, running to the path that led to the hospital. She saw a flash of light to her left in an alley and saw a mob of villagers run out from it. She ran into the alley, momentarily forgetting about her daughter, and walked into the alley the villagers ran from. She saw the battered and bloodied Naruto unconscious with the same marking but had more filled in. She looked at it. What does this mean? She thought. What happened here? A cool collected voice broke her from her thoughts. She turned and saw an Anbu Black Ops member behind her. Please help my daughter. She passed out and now has a seal on her wrist. I was running to get her to the doctor, and on my way there I saw a golden light glow from this alley and saw the villagers run from here. So and to look and found him with the same seal mark, Sakura's mother told the Anbu agent. The Anbu remained silent and stared at her. She began to wonder if he didn't believe her and thought she was lying. She was about to say she was telling the truth until another Anbu member appeared. We will take care of you, daughter Ms. Haruno. Once you get to the hospital, you are to stay there until the Hokage arrives to question you. The Anbu member said. You are going to help him too, right? The elder Haruno asked. She may not want her child near the Uzumaki, but she sure as hell was not going to turn a blind eye to a child that was in the condition he was in. We will be taking him as well, the Anbu said, assuring her. The Anbu agent took Sakura out of her hands while the other grabbed Naruto and they both disappeared. The elder Haruno ran to the hospital. The god's destiny. Sakura sat in the room, in complete silence. Her daughter shared the room with the Uzumaki kid. She briefly wondered why his 6 years of life was a complete and utter hell, but remembered the burden placed upon him by the fourth Hokage. She wondered what he was thinking before he sealed the beast into the boy. Her thoughts were interrupted by the sound of the door opening and the third Hokage walked in. Good afternoon Hokage-sama, Sakura said respectfully with a bow. Good afternoon Haruno-san, the old Kage said, tipping his hat and walking over to the beds. He checked each child's wrist to look at the mark. He let out a weary sigh. What is it Hokage-sama? Sakura asked, now worried for her daughters as well as the Uzumaki's safety. It's nothing that will harm them my dear. Nothing at all, but a great responsibility has been placed on them. This is the mark for people chosen by the gods. People in a land called Hyrule generally get chosen. But the gods of Hyrule saw that these two are worthy. For what? I don't know, the third said while sitting down. What do the gods of Hyrule want with my daughter and the Uzumaki kid? Sakura asked. I don't know, my dear, but these two are connected, the aged Kage said, getting up from the chair. Once they become ninja, I will tell them of their destiny. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go catch up with some paperwork, he said, walking to the door. When he got to the door, he turned his head to face Sakura. Oh, one more thing. Some of my persona, El Anbu will be watching them so no harm comes to them, he said to Sakura, shocking her before he left and closed the door behind him. Sakura leaned back in her chair. She fell asleep for an hour maybe, she didn't know. She heard someone groan to see Naruto sitting up in his bed looking around like he just woke up. Naruto Pav. Great. I'm in the hospital again, I mumbled after letting out a sigh. I turned my head and saw a woman with pink hair. She kind of looked like Sakura-chan, but her hair was a darker pink and she had blue eyes. Hi, I said, not quite sure what to say. The lady stared at me for a little longer. And I was starting to think she hated me along with the rest of the village. However, my thoughts were interrupted when she started speaking. So, you must be the Naruto Uzumaki I have been hearing about. She said with a small smile. He felt a little shy and timidly said, yes. So, you must know my daughter, Sakura, she said. Naruto's eyes widened in shock at finding out she was Sakura's mother. My name's Sakura Haruno, she said kindly. Are you here to tell me I can't play with Sakura-chan, Haruno-san? I asked. When he said that, Sakura felt guilty for telling her daughter to stay away from him when he so desperately needed a friend. The elder Haruno shook her head. No. Sakura's in the bed next to yours, Sakura said. And I looked at the bed next to mine. I couldn't believe what I saw. There she was, lying down on the hospital bed. Did the villagers do this? I asked. No, Sakura said. She wasn't feeling good today, but once she gets better, would you like to join me and her for dinner? Sakura asked me. I couldn't believe it. An adult actually cared for me besides Hokage Gigi. I felt tears go down my cheeks, and I felt her hug me. I looked up and saw her hugging me. Thank you, I said, and I heard her humming a lullaby and I slowly started to fall asleep. Sakura's Pav. Once Naruto fell asleep, I walked to the door and out to the hallway. I planned to go to the Hokage. Minato may have treated me like family when my former husband, but I planned to do more for the child he believed in. Sarutobi's Pav. I watched the interaction through my crystal ball. I saw Sakura-san heading to the tower, and I knew what she was planning. I knew she was going to be one big headache to deal with. Once I heard a knock on the door, I knew who it was. Enter, I said, and Sakura entered through the doors. This is a surprise Haruno-san. What can I do for you? I asked. I wish to adopt Naruto Uzumaki, Hokage-sama, she said. As much as I would like to, I have to deny your request. But I would like to know why, I said. She gave me an angered glare, meaning she wasn't going to give up. I sighed. I would love nothing more than to give the boy a home. But I had to know her intentions are with the boy because a lot of people tried to pretend to care for him only to try to kill him. I was going to make sure this woman's intentions were pure. Normal Pav. That boy needs a mother. The fourth picked him for a reason, and I'm damn well going to make sure on my honor that his dying wish is met, she said. As much as I want to, I still can't let why. Oh, you adopt him because the fourth wants him to be trained by Jiraiya. I want you to please help him. Love him when he is down. Guide him down the right path, because I'm not always going to be there for him forever, the third said. Sakura was disappointed that the third didn't let her adopt the boy but tried her best to understand the third's reason. She nodded. Okay, Hokage-sama, she said. I will have my most trusted Anbu guard you and your family so Naruto may be able to visit you. You may leave now, the third said. She bowed and walked out of the room. The third sighed. Damn, council made it hard to give the boy a good life. If they found out he had a family, they would have killed them just to make the boy suffer. He truly felt bad for the boy. If he could, he would have adopted the boy himself, but that was out of his power to do so because of a law that the first made. Sakura Pav. I woke up and sat up, looking around. I'm in a doctor's place. I looked at my hand and saw 3 triangles. Where did these triangles come from? I heard a groan and looked over and saw Naruto on another bed covered in bandages. Naruto-kun, I said. He turned his head in my direction. Sakura-chan, you're awake. Are you okay? He asked. At first, I was confused. What happened to you? I asked. I saw his eyes widen then go sad. It's nothing. I fell down a hill, Naruto said nervously, which I knew he was trying to rick me. I gave him a look that showed I did not believe him. He bowed his head down. Sakura, it's hard to explain, he said. Then try your best to explain. You help me with those bullies. The least I can do is try to help, I said, getting a little frustrated. The villagers did this, he said sadly. Even though I had a feeling the villagers were at fault, it still shocked me to the core. Why would they do this? I asked. I don't know, Sakura. They do it every day, and sometimes the doctors won't help me. Only when the old man Hokage threatens them is when they help me. Naruto said with his head still down. I could not believe how terrible my friend's life was. I had always thought my life was bad, but his was much worse than mine. I did the only thing I could think of at the time. I got out of the bed and hugged him, making him wince. It didn't look to be in too much pain though. Naruto. No matter what, I will always be your friend, I said. Normal Pav. Naruto was shocked at the declaration his friend made. It took him a moment to return the hug. As he did so, tears fell down his face. He had never felt so happy. Thank you, Sakura. You don't know how much this means to me, Naruto said. Are you feeling better now, Naruto? Sakura asked, still hugging him. Yes, I feel way better now, Naruto said, flashing a grin that reminded her of a fox. She returned it with one of her own. And at that moment, the door opened and Sakura's mother walked in. Sakuri's Pav. Sakuri walked into the room and saw her daughter and Naruto sitting in their hospital beds. They looked cute together. Ah, looks like Sakura found herself a boyfriend while I ran home, Sakuri teased, making both 6-year-olds shout in disgust. Iyu. Mom. Iyu. Sakura's mom. We're friends. That would be weird. Both 6-year-olds yelled. I'm only kidding, said Sakuri, laughing at the two's behavior. Okawa-san, please let me still play with Naruto. I am his only friend, and he is my only friend, Sakura said. Of course you can, honey, because I was wrong. You can still see him, Sakuri said kindly. Sakura could not believe what her mother saw. All she could do was hug her mother. Sakuri hugged her daughter. These two have a long road ahead of them. It's full of unknowns and hardships, but their friendship will help them see it through, Sakuri thought. Oh, Sakuri didn't know how right she was. A new mission. It has been 5 years since Sakuri tried to adopt Naruto, and since that day, Naruto and Sakura have been inseparable. They have gotten even closer. They are the best of friends. And they also found a friend in Hinata Hyuga. When they went to the ninja academy, Naruto had a real hard time with the clone jutsu, and failed because of it. A teacher who went by the name O.F. Mizuki tricked Naruto into stealing the forbidden scroll of sealing. He then learned the shadow clone jutsu before Iruka and Sakura found him. They were then attacked by Mizuki, who told Naruto the truth as to why everybody hated him. Telling him he had the QB sealed inside him. Scared and confused, he ran off, to which Sakura ran after him. As Mizuki attacked him, she found and comforted him and told him she didn't hate him. They ran back to the fight and defeated Mizuki. Naruto was graduated from the academy to Genin status. Naruto and Sakura were teamed up with Sasuke, and their sensei was a man named Kakashi. They have done many missions together. Sakura was killed in the sound attack on the leaf, as well as the third Hokage, which devastated them. They went with Jiraiya the Toad Sani and to find Tsunade the Slug Sannin for the position of Hokage. They both grew stronger as they searched for the Slug Sannin. When they found her, at first she refused, but in the end she accepted the posit. Ion, thanks in part to Naruto learning the Rasengan. Sakura asked to be her apprentice. A year later, Sasuke's impatience with his lack growth left the Hidden Leaf village to join Orochimaru. Naruto and a team left the village to chase after him. Naruto confronted Sasuke at the Valley of the End. Despite Naruto's pleas, Sasuke and Naruto fought each other in a battle of such intensity that the earth as crying at the end of the fateful battle. Sasuke stood over Naruto's broken but not dead body, and left the scene before their sensei got there and brought Naruto's broken body to the hospital, where he lay in a coma for 2 months. Sakura rarely left his side, she only left when Ino dragged her out of the room, or when she had to train with Tsunade. Naruto's POV. I woke up and saw the ceiling of the hospital. I sighed because I knew I had failed to bring back Sasuke, my brother. I felt like I was the worst kind of trash you could think of. I moved to sit up but couldn't because the weight someone was on my chest. He looked down and saw Sakura asleep, and she was using my chest as a pillow. I tried to get and not wake her up by lifting her head as gently as I could, and I moved my body out from under her head and slid my pillow under her head. After I lowered her head onto the pillow, I was about to leave till normal POV. The door opened and Tsunade walked. All the color in Naruto's face drained. What are you doing out of bed, you brat? I don't care if you woke up or not, there could still be something wrong. Tsunade yelled, waking Sakura up, who shot right up in fright, looking around once her eyes landed on Naruto. Naruto. She yelled and ran at him and gave him a bone-crushing hug. Thank God you're okay, she said, shaking him like a rag doll. Sakura can't breath. Naruto gasped out. What, oh sore. Rai, Naruto, I didn't mean to, but I'm just you just don't know how worried I was for you, Sakura said, laughing sheepishly. Tsunade chuckled in amusement at her apprentice's frantic interactions. Ith her teammate, who was trying to regain his breath from Sakura's bear hug. Okay, that's enough fooling around, you two. As amusing as this is, but Naruto, I need a mission report from you, Tsunade said. Time skip a week later. Beep 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 smash. Damn alarm clock, Naruto said and fell back into bed and tried to fall asleep again. Bang bang. Naruto, get up, we have to get to Hokage Tower, we have a mission today, Sakura yelled. Naruto groaned, rolled over with the pillow over his head. Damn it, Naruto, get the fuck up now or I'm going to kick your ass all the way to the tower, Sakura yelled. And then he did the unthinkable by punching a hole through the door, and that mad Naruto jumped right out of bed and rushed to put on his mission cloths. Okay Sakura, I'm up, no need to that, he said hastily. Hurry up, we're going to be late, she said, and walked away from the room, and walked down the hallway and into the kitchen and sat in one of the chairs sitting around the kitchen table. Sometimes she didn't know what to think of Naruto. She cared a lot for him and would do anything to protect him. If only he wasn't so lazy, she wouldn't worry so much about him. She lifted up her hand and looked at the 3 triangles on her hand. She often wondered why they were on her hand, but also wondered what the third meant about her and Naruto being connected, but she could not understand, nor could she begin to understand. Looking at the mark again, she heard Naruto ask. She turned and saw Naruto standing by the stairs. Yeah, I still don't understand what the third meant by our destinies being linked together by the gods. I mean, it frustrates me, and she said. We can figure it out later. Right now we have to hurry, or that old hag's going to be kicking our asses from here all the way to the mission site, he said, putting on the black fingerless gloves he wears to hide the mark on his hands, and tosses Sakura her gloves. And they run out of the apartment, closing the door behind them, and they ran through village streets for a couple blocks till they were stopped by a mob of villagers who stepped in their way. Oh, look what we have here, boy, it's the demon brats, one of the villagers said in a venomous tone, making the mob laugh. Looks like we won't have to search for you to give you what you two deserve for making our Uchiha leave the village, another yelled. And the villagers roared in approval. Nothing to do with him leaving, so leave us alone and get out of our way or we will make you by force, Naruto warned. The villagers laughed at him, which annoyed him. Yeah right, you little demon, there's more of us. The villager never finished when he felt a kuni at the back of his neck. Oh, now that I think hardly matters, said Kakashi, glaring at the villager. Kakashi-sensei, Naruto and Sakura exclaimed in relief. As the mob fled the elite Jonin in fear that he would kill them. Please don't kill me, please, I'll leave them alone, the villager pled. Then Kakashi took his kuni off the villager's neck. I am letting you off with a warning, but if I see you tormenting my students again I won't be so merciful, Kakashi said so coldly that it sent shivers down everyone's spine. The villager ran as fast as his legs could carry him. Once the villager was gone, Kakashi turned to his 2 remaining students and giving them an eye smile. Good thing I came to find you guys, or that wouldn't have turned out very good, Kakashi said. The 2 nodded, knowing it was true. Kakashi motioned his head and they started walking to the Hokage Tower. Kakashi-sensei, do you know what our mission is? Sakura asked. I'm not sure exactly where we're going. But I do know I have to not only lead our team, but I also have to lead Team 8 and Team 10 for this mission, Kakashi said while grabbing his Ika Par Adai's book from his pouch and began reading it. What about their senseis, won't they be joining the mission? Naruto asked, joining the conversation. Kakashi shook his head. No, they won't be with us, they have missions elsewhere. So the genin and chunin of your year are coming and are under my command for this mission, Kakashi said, still reading his book. So everyone in our year is coming. Sakura said. Yes, Kakashi said. And they walked the rest of the way in silence, and once they got to the Hokage Tower, hey guys, an excited voice yelled, breaking the silence between them. They looked in the direction of the yell and saw Ino running to them with the rest of her team following behind her. How are you guys doing with what happened with Sasuke and all? She asked, showing concern. We're doing Betty. Sakura said, looking over at Naruto worriedly. Who was looking down in shame. Ino, sensing to not prod further. If you guys need anyone to talk to, please come talk to me, she said, and left them. Hell. Naruto and Sakura. A timid voice said. Naruto and Sakura turned to greet their best friend. Hey, Hinata, how have you been? They asked. She turned bright red and. I am fine. I could ask the same about you, she shyly said back. We're doing better. Sakura said. Okay, let's go and get briefed for the mission, they heard Kakashi say, and the three teams walked in through the doors of the Hokage Tower and elked up the stairs and walked through the hall to the double doors to the Hokage's office. Kakashi knocked on the door. Come in, Tsunade said. The group walked in. They saw a man with a white shirt with a red eye symbol and blue pants. He had silver hair and had red eyes, standing in the room with Tsunade. Good morning, Lady Tsunade, Kakashi said. Good morning, Kakashi. Surprisingly, you're not late. I expect everything is okay with your team, Tsunade asked, looking at her apprentice. We're doing better, my lady. Who is this guy in the white and blue? I have seen that symbol before. I haven't seen anything like it, Sakura said, looking at the man. Let me explain that one, madam, the man said with a monotone. Tsunade nodded for the man to continue. I come from Hyrule and currently we are at war with Gerudo thieves right now, and they are much more powerful than we anticipated. So now we the Sheikah need to protect the king more than ever, but now we are too few to do anything. Our tribe, originally, we came from the elemental nations and we migrated to Hyrule and have stayed for generations, and I have come to ask for your help, the man said. May we ask the name of our client? Shikamaru asked. My name Shiken. Now introduced, Shiken said. So what do you want us to do? Help protect your king until the war is over? Naruto asked. No, we want you to protect the people of Hyrule till the war is over, Shiken said. Okay team, you have an A ranked. Your orders, you are to protect Hyrule until the war has been won. Good luck, you are dismissed, Tsunade said, and the group left the office. Be at the main gate at 2 o'clock, Kakashi said before disappearing in a swirl of leaves. I will see you at the gate, Shiken said. He reached into his pocket and threw something into the ground, and with a very brief GHT flash which blinded everyone present, Shiken was gone. Kiba turned around to face the group. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm psyched for this mission, Kiba said with smirk. Akamaru barked agreement. Everyone just stared at Kiba. Come on, at least someone has to be psyched, Kiba said defensively. I'm with you, Kiba, this mission's going to be awesome, Naruto said, pumping his fist in the air. Yeah, at least someone is with me, Kiba stated while bumping with Naruto. Come on, Naruto, we have to go pack, Sakura said with a small smile. She was excited for the mission too, but she wasn't going to admit it. Okay, Sakura, let's go, Naruto said. Sakura nodded and they left the tower and into the streets of the village. They saw a mob forming. Let's go to the roofs before they come, Sakura said. Good idea, Sakura. Naruto and they jumped up to the roofs with the mob on the ground, cursing and throwing stones and any other object they could get their hands. Someday I hope they will leave us alone, Sakura said. As they hopped from one roof to another. They will someday, but at least we will be out of the village for a while. But we have each other to lean on because of these, Naruto said. Raw. Icing the hand that had the Triforce mark hidden behind his glove. Sakura nodded. She had Naruto with her. And, we also have our friends, she said back. That's right, Naruto said with a grin. Who are you and what did you do with Naruto? She joked. Hey Sakura, that's so mean, Naruto trying to sound hurt, making Sakura laugh. And soon they arrived at their apartment they shared after Sakura's mother died. Naruto offered her his extra room, which she took because there were too many memories and it was hurting her to have the house alone where she used to live with her mother. They landed on the balcony. NY and opened the glass door and walked in. They each ran into their rooms and started packing. They packed enough kunai and shuriken to last a long time. They also packed scrolls on how to make shuriken, kunai and jutsu they were going to learn, and they each went to the balcony. They looked back at the apartment. You ready? Sakura asked, looking at Naruto. Yeah, let's go, Naruto said. They closed the balcony door and jumped off to the roofs. Time skip. Naruto and Sakura along with teams 8 and 10 along with their client were waiting for Kakashi. Ah, where is he? He should have been here half an hour ago. Kiba yelled in aggravation. It depends, he could arrive at any moment, it could be an hour or he could show up any minute, Naruto said in nonchalant manner. Kiba was about to make a reader. But Kakashi shunshined at that exact moment. Okay, are you guys ready to get underway? Kakashi said. Yes sir. They all said. They all walked through the gate into the forest. Separated in the Lost Woods. The team had walked for hours and they reached a forest called the Lost Woods. They had been walking around these woods for hours and it was getting dark out. They reached a small clearing which was big enough for them to camp. Let's make camp here, Shiken said. Team 10, you set up the tents. 8, you make the fire pit, and Naruto and Sakura, you two will collect the firewood, Kakashi said. The group nodded and went off to do their assigned task. Naruto and Sakura turned. Be sure not to stray too far, you two, because it is easy to get lost in these woods and there are also dangerous creatures in these woods, Shiken cautioned. Okay, we'll be careful, Sakura said. With that said, the two left the clearing into the woods. When the campsite was out of sight, they began the tedious task gathering any dry sticks they found. Okay, I think we have enough to keep the fire going through the night, Sakura said, holding a pile of sticks. Okay, let's get back to camp, Naruto said, also hold a pile, looking around. Sakura, do you know which way camp is? Because I can't see the trail we made, Naruto said sheepishly. What? You were supposed to keep track of our trail, Sakura yelled, glaring at Naruto. Naruto laughed nervously. I did. It's as if the trail we made disappeared, Naruto said. Naruto, you idiot, you know that's impossible. Trails don't just disappear, Sakura said with a vein popping out of her forehead. Don't worry. I'll get us back. I think we came from this way, Naruto said, leading them completely in the wrong direction. Scene change. Naruto and Sakura have been gone too long. I'm going go look for them, Kakashi said, putting his book away. That wouldn't be wise, Shiken said. And why would that be? Kakashi said. Whoever gets lost in these woods is lost forever. I'm sorry, Master Kakashi. But you're never going to find your students. They're likely already dead. I think it, Shiken said. Before Kakashi interrupted. No, I have faith in them and I am not going to abandon them. I don't know what code you Shika follow. But in the village hidden in the leaf, those who abandon the mission are scum, but those who abandon a comrade are worse than scum, Kakashi stated. Yeah, we of the leaf never leave a comrade, Kiba yelled, backing Kakashi. The whole group nodded, showing their approval. Amazing speech there, Master Kakashi. But I never said we were never going to look for tea. I was going to say that I believed it would be better to search in the day. The wolfos will be out hunting, so since the situation calls for it, I will make the fire, Shiken said, walking to the fire pit, reaching inside his pocket. Dark art, hell's flame, Shiken yelled, throwing a glowing red sphere into the fire pit. When the red sphere hit the fire pit, a massive firestorm flew up into the sky, blinding everyone who stared into the flame. But as quickly as the firestorm came, it was gone and died down to a giant campfire that would take whole trees to build. What kind of jutsu was that? I have never heard of anything like it, Shikamaru said. That was no jutsu, kid, it was a spell. Only a few of the Shika can use it, and I am the last one who is capable of using it and survive it because it drains the user's life force, Shiken said as a trail of sweat could clearly be seen flowing down his forehead. If it's that dangerous, why did you use it? Kiba asked, not understanding why he would go to such an extreme for a simple campfire. Because there are wolfos nearby and the only thing the fear is fire. We didn't have enough time to make one by conventional means, Shiken said, sitting down by the fire. So Naruto and Sakura will be okay as long as they made a fire, Hinata said. Yes, was all Shiken said. Scene change. They had been walking for hours and they were exhausted. The sun went down hours ago. Naruto, let's take a break because if I go any further I'm going to pass out, Sakura said, dropping her pile of twigs on the ground and sitting down dead tired. Okay, Sakura. Damn it, I really screwed up big time. I'm so sorry, Sakura, Naruto said. It's okay, Naruto, I should have been paying attention too, but we better make a fire. It's dark out and we more than likely won't find camp, Sakura said. You're right, Sakura, I'll start the fire, Naruto said and walked off to go start the fire. She saw him set up the twigs first in a small pile and she saw him rubbing 2 sticks together. Naruto, that's not how you start a fire, she said, getting up and grabbed. Let me show you how, she said as she took the sticks from Naruto and pulled a piece of bark from a tree. She then placed it down on the ground with dry grass that she had picked from the ground underneath it. She grabbed the stick and put one end in a niche in the bark she dug in with a kunai, and started to rub her hands at a really fast pace. After a few trees they began to smell smoke. That was when she took out the hot piece of tinder. She gently moved it into the dry grass, wrapping it in the dry grass and to gently blow into it the grass, making it smoke even more till flames started licking out of the grass. Naruto watched in amazement as She then moved the burning grass into the middle of the branch. The fire then steadily grew into a campfire. Sakura turned around and saw Naruto's stupefied face. What? She asked, completely oblivious to what she did. How the heck did you do that? Naruto asked. Annoyed that he couldn't do it and that she could. I learned it at the survival class, which you just so happened to have ditched like most classes, she said proudly. Aw, come on, Sakura, class was so boring. Naruto whined like a little kid. Come on, we should get to sleep but stay on your side of the fire, Sakura said as she moved to the other side of the fire where she had laid down close but not too close to the fire that she would risk rolling into it while she was asleep, and not soon after she was lightly snoring. Shaking his head at how fast she fell asleep, Naruto did hand signs and it a jutsu so the fire would stay lit all night and laid himself down as close as he dared to the fire and was soon sound asleep. In not even 5 minutes, Sakura stood up and walked around the fire's till lightly snoring and laid down next to Naruto, and Naruto wrapped his arms around her protectively while they were sleeping. Glowing green eyes stalked them throughout the night. Kokiri, children of the forest. It was late in the morning before Sakura woke up. She yawned and, feeling very comfortable and protected, and felt someone's arms around her. She looked over and saw Naruto right behind her. Blushing, she scooted away out of his arms and backed into a tree. She sat down. How did Naruto get so close? Wait, I'm on his side of the fire, so how did I end up over here? She observed the fire and saw her spot by the fire and what looked like footprints. Her footprints. Wait, I'm sleepwalking. I have never done that before, Sakura gulped, glancing back to Naruto. I didn't want to leave his arms. I felt so happy to be there. She wondered, could it be she had feelings for her best friend? No, it couldn't be. He's my best friend. I can't have feelings for him. But I am going to have to wake him up, Sakura thought. She shakily got up to her knees and crawled over to Naruto. Naruto, come on. It's time to get up, she said, shaking him gently. He groaned in annoyance and rolled on his side. Okay, that was a little cute, but I'm not going to wait for him to wake up, she thought as she grabbed him. Come on, wake up, you baka, she yelled, shaking him like a rag doll. Okay, Sakura, I'm awake now, Naruto said. She stopped shaking him. Sorry I shook you, but you wouldn't wake up, so let's get a move on, Sakura said. Naruto got up and put out the remaining embers from their fire with dirt and left it there. Aren't you forgetting something? His confusion was obvious. You're forgetting we need to leave no trace behind so no enemy ninja can find us, Sakura said. I didn't forget. I know. But I want us to be found. There are no enemy ninja to worry about, so it would be better to leave this so our team can find us, Naruto said. She nodded, seeing the logic behind it. Okay then. Let's find a way out of these woods then, Sakura said, getting up and brushing off the dirt and leaves that got on her clothes while offering her hand. Okay, Sakura. Let's go, Naruto said, taking her hand. She pulled him to his feet, and they walked into a large hollowed-out log. After they were out of view, something could be seen inside the bushes stalking them. Scene change. Kakashi woke up from his light sleep. He had barely slept through the night at all, but he forced himself to sleep because he knew if he had to fight to save his students who he had grown to love like his own children, he would need his strength. He got up out of his sleeping bag. Hello, Master Kakashi. Sleep well? Shiken asked. Well, considering the circumstances, I slept the best I could, Kakashi said blandly. That's understandable. I would be feeling the same exact way you're feeling, Shiken said compassionately, nodding at the man. I'm going to go wake up the team and you're going to lead the team too while I search for my students, Kakashi said. Shiken nodded in an affirmative way. I will take care of them. You just find your students, Shiken said. With that said, Kakashi proceeded to the task of waking everybody up. Once they were up, they put their sleeping bags and whatever else they had out at the time away with a soldierly precision. Well, everyone except Shikamaru. They all formed up in front of Kakashi at attention after they packed their bags. Okay, you guys. Shiken is going to be in charge and take you to Hyrule's capital while I look for Naruto and Sakura. Understood, Kakashi said. But Kakashi-sensei, why don't we help you? The search could go a lot faster, Kiba asked. Because he's making sure the mission is not delayed because of the search for them. Shikamaru looked at Kiba as he spoke. Kiba stayed quiet, not able to argue with the logic behind Shikamaru's statement. If that's all, I'm going to start my search, Kakashi said, turning to leave. Wait, Kakashi-sensei. Why don't I come with you? Hinata asked. Hinata, I will move faster if I search on my own, Kakashi said. I could use my Byakugan to help you search for them, making it easier to Find them and it wouldn't impede the mission at all, Hinata countered. Everyone stared in shock at the Hyuga heiress. Kakashi rubbed the back of his neck. Okay Hinata, you got me there. You can help with the search. The rest of you go with Shiken to the castle, Kakashi said. Yes sir, they said, and with that, they disappeared into the dense forest. Let's go Hinata, Kakashi said, turning to face her with a nod. She activated her Byakugan and they walked into the dense forestry. Scene change. Naruto and Sakura were walking through a dark cavernous log until they saw a faint light that continued to get brighter as they walked. Finally, they were nearing the end of the dark cave. Hey Sakura, I think we're almost out of here because I see light and I think I hear kids talking, Naruto said. As they kept on walking, the light was almost unbearable as it got brighter, forcing them to bring hands up to shield their eyes. Yeah, I hear them too, she said, and they walked out of the large hollowed log. They were shocked at what they saw. A village made out of hollowed out stood there for a few moments, looking at the village. It was a beautiful sight, and as they looked around, they also noticed the kids as the only residents in the whole village. They walked down the hill, and the kids watched them walk down the hill with curiosity. When they got down the hill, they were surrounded. They also noticed that there was a ball of light with wings flying around each kid. The children surrounded Naruto and Sakura, asking who they were and where they came from. Sakura could have sworn she heard, "Why are your ears round?" Wait. One question at a time. We can't answer them if you're all asking them at the same time. Okay, you first, Sakura said, pointing at a bratty looking kid. I'm not a you. I'm the great Mido, and where are you from? Are you from outside the forest? Mido said with an impish look. Yes, but we're not from around here. We came from somewhere far away, Naruto said, trying to make it easier for the kid to understand by pointing at where they came from. However, he made himself look stupid, making everyone sweat drop. Are you an idiot? Because you sure act like one, Mido said. What? Why? You little shit. Sakura, let me go so I can kill this kid, Naruto yelled as Sakura held him back just before he went to grab the Kokiri boy. Naruto, he's just a kid, Sakura yelled as she held him back. Yeah, listen to the girl with the wide forehead because you might lose, Mido taunted. Sakura scowled hearing what the Kokiri boy said. The forest ceremony. 2 weeks after they met the two ninja. Every Kokiri learned that you never said, Sakura had a large forehead, unless you wanted to get the beating of a lifetime, like Mido. The two have been helping them out with anything they could, whether it was field work or other projects. They would, to Naruto's horror, cut the weeds, repair their homes, and paint their fences. The Kokiri learned later at Naruto and Sakura meant no harm to them, despite what happened when they first met. As for Naruto and Sakura, they learned that the Kokiri are forever children, and they each made bonds with all the Kokiri. The Kokiri immediately accepted them into their family and called them their brother and sister. The Kokiri housed Naruto and Sakura in a house abandoned, and when they asked if anyone lived there before, the Kokiri children each gave melancholy looks, and they didn't press the matter further. Morning. In their home, for the 2 weeks they have been in the Kokiri forest, Naruto and Sakura were laying in the only bed in the house right beside the only window in house. When the sun began peeking over the horizon, it shone its light on them waking. Sakura was up first as she sat and stretched with a yawn. She looked over at Naruto and saw that he was still asleep and smiled when she looked at him. She stroked his hair. Maybe I am falling for you, you knucklehead, she said with a smile still on her face. Naruto smiled in his sleep. But I'm still not ready to open my heart yet, she said softly. She remembered when they first moved in their new home there was a lot of awkwardness between the two at first, but they got over it eventually. Sakura refused to let Naruto sleep on the floor and Naruto refused to let her sleep on the floor, so after arguing back and forth for hours, they just decided to sleep in the bed together. Naruto, come on. We have to get to work and help the Kokiri, she said, tapping him lightly on the shoulder. He opened one eye and looked at Sakura. Am I in heaven because I see you? He said cheesily. No, you're in hell, you idiot. Now get up, she said playfully. Oh man, that's a bummer. I was hoping I made the right choice. I thought they said follow the darkness. He said with a laugh as Sakura attacked him off the bed playfully as both began to laugh. Hey Naruto Nichan and Sakura Nisan. It's time to wake up. A feminine voice yelled. They both sighed. Let's go, Naruto, Sakura said as she got off of Naruto and started heading to the doorway, which was haphazardly cut into the tree. It was only blocked off by a curtain to give privacy, but by no means kept things out. Sighing, Naruto got up and walked with his best friend to the door and handed Sakura her headband, and they both tied them on. I wish I could have gotten tea. Oh, spend much more time with him, her, but we have a duty to do for the Kokiri until our team finds us, were their simultaneous thoughts as they headed to the door. Naruto lifted the curtain for Sakura to go through. Thank you, Naruto, she said with a blush which he never saw because he wasn't paying attention. He got me to blush again. I hope he didn't see because that would be embarrassing, shish. He thought as she walked out followed by Naruto. They both looked around the small village on the balcony to see who had called and saw a girl with green hair standing there, looking up at the balcony. Naruto waved to the girl with his grin. Hey Saria, good morning. He yelled down to her. Saria waved back. Good morning Naruto Nisan and Sakura Nichan. How are you guys doing? Saria yelled up to them. We're doing fine, Saria. What do we have to do today? Sakura asked with a small smile. We're preparing for the forest ceremony, Saria said. Naruto rubbed the back of his head. What's the forest ceremony? He said sheepishly. Oh yeah, you wouldn't know. Sorry. It's something we do every season to bring the goodwill and protection of the gods. Ever since the death of the great Deku tree, we need them more than ever. All you two need to do is help us prepare for the ceremony, so I got a list of things you need to do to help, Saria said, making them both sweat rock. Okay, we're coming down, Sakura said. With that said, Naruto and Sakura both leapt down to the ground and walked over to Saria. They both were taller. Sakura was 5 inches taller than her and Naruto was 2 inches taller. Saria handed them their list. Bye. See you at the ceremony, Saria said and left. So what do we have to do? Naruto asked, trying to look over Sakura's shoulder. First, we have to cut the grass. Then we have to carve masks for ourselves. Then last, we have to help the shop owner, Sakura read. Oh, is that all? Seems easy enough, Naruto said, even though he hated doing what he deemed chores. Well, let's get started. Sakura said. Somewhere in the forest. Hinata. Kakashi said. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, Hinata said while looking in all directions with her Byakugan activated. If we don't find them today, we're going to have to assume that they're dead and continue with the mission, Kakashi said. But Kakashi-sensei, they're still out there, and they could be waiting for us to find them, Hinata said. Completely shocked at Team 7's sensei. We have been searching for 2 weeks with no trace of them, which is way longer than we were supposed to. I had hoped I could find them. But their scent has been washed away by the storms, so it is impossible to find them. They will have to find their own way back to us, Kakashi said. Even though Hinata didn't see it, she knew this as killing Team 7's sensei on the inside. Yes, Kakashi-sensei, she said reluctantly, and they continued in their search. Back in the Leaf Village. Hello Tsunade, Jiraiya said as he climbed into Tsunade's office. Jiraiya, if you don't start using that door to come in like a normal human being, I am going to punch you through the Hokage mountain, Tsunade said irritably. That's not how ninja enter rooms, Tsunade, Jiraiya said, waving off her threat with a grin. I got the information, Jiraiya said, getting serious and handing her the scroll containing the information. Good work Jiraiya, I have another mission for you. It is of the utmost importance, Tsunade said. I need you go to Hyrule for a long-term mission, Tsunade said. Wait Tsunade, I have to get Naruto out of the village. For our training trip to prepare him for the Akatsuki. How long are we talking? He said very seriously. The mission will be over once the war for Hyrule is over. This mission is bigger than the Akatsuki. Failure is not an option. If you fail, not only will the leaf be in danger, but all of the elemental nations will be as well, Tsunade said, leaving no room for nonsense. What could be bigger than the Akatsuki? Jiraiya thought. Who is so much of a threat that Akatsuki pales in comparison? Jiraiya asked. His name is Ganondorf. Ganondorf. I fought him 6 years ago on one of my travels once to a draw. He is a very dangerous enemy. He seemed to get stronger as we fought each other. After that fight, he laughed and left, saying he will be back to destroy the elemental countries. When I went to go after him again, he just disappeared, Jiraiya said, interrupting Tsunade mid-sentence. So you have fought him before, Tsunade said. Yes. As I said, he fought me to a draw, so his power is nothing to sneeze at. What is my mission? Jiraiya said. You are to bring 20 Chunin, meet with Kakashi and his team at Hyrule, and take command. My apprentice and Naruto are also there, so you can also train them when you get there, she said. Wait, you want me to train your apprentice too? Jiraiya asked. Yes. I want you to train her in my stead because she only needs taijutsu training and a little ninjutsu training. I only know a few jutsu, but I hardly need any jutsu thanks to my healing and strength abilities, but she's going to need more than even that because of what she has, Tsunade said. What does she have? Is she also a Jinchuriki? Jiraiya asked. No. Her and Naruto both have something more powerful than the tailed beast called the Triforce. It was mentioned in Sensei's notes. Luckily, the council has not found them, or otherwise they would turn them into baby factories to reproduce that power. Not that I would let that happen anyway, Tsunade said. So wait, let me get this straight. They both have something this powerful in them, but what do they do? For Naruto, his jutsu is more powerful than ordinary versions of it. His Rasengan is bigger than even mine and the fourth's. And his mind's like a sponge when it comes to sword fighting, Jiraiya said, crossing his arms in pride, showing just how proud he was of his student. Where to start? Her chakra control is almost perfect. She absorbs healing jutsu like a sponge. In 2 to 3 years, she might just surpass me. She nearly has the super strength jutsu down, and I think she has an affinity toward light, Tsunade said. What do you mean an affinity to light? Jiraiya asked. During one of our spars, there was a flash of golden light when she would throw a punch and her chakra had a golden hue to it. Not long after, she passed out and underneath her gloves, the Triforce was glowing and you could clearly see it under the glove. When she woke up, she couldn't recall anything that happened, Tsunade explained. So that's why you want me to train her too. You want her to be able to harness that power without harming herself. I don't know if I can, but I will do what I can. I was hard pressed with one student but two. Jiraiya, I'm not asking you as Hokage, but as a friend. Please take care of her and Naruto, Tsunade asked, showing a side Jiraiya rarely saw in the woman. Sure, Tsunade. I will take care of the both of them. Jiraiya said with a soft smile and was about to leave. Oh, and Jiraiya, if you rub any of you pervert behaviors on them, I will make sure you will be the last of your family, Tsunade said. Come on. Stop being ridiculous, Tsunade. I would never corrupt the youth, Jiraiya said. Get out of here, you old pervert, Tsunade said with an amused smile. Oh, come on, Tsunade. Suddenly, Tsunade throws a stapler and it hits Jiraiya in the forehead between the eyes. Gwa. Ah. Jiraiya screamed and fell of the Hokage tower and into the streets of the Leaf. NY onlookers just shook their heads at seeing the pathetic sight of the toad sage and continued about their business. Back in the Kokiri forest. Ah, what do we have to do now, Sakura? Naruto asked, scratching his head. Sakura looked through the list they had. They had done pretty much everything on the list. We have to build masks now, Naruto. We both should both make the same thing. It could be fun, she said. Okay, what should we make? He asked, raising his eyebrow. What should we make, Sakura? Naruto asked again. Sakura and Naruto thought about it for a little while until both said at the same time, I got it. The both looked at each other then looked away, bluches on their faces. I hope he didn't see that, were their thoughts. I wonder if she feels the same as I feel, Naruto thought. Sakura coughed to get Naruto's attention. Sorry, what were you saying? He said as he thought, she is so beautiful. I was asking what was your idea on the mask was, she said. Oh that, I was going to say we make fox masks but that's stupid. What was your idea? He said, bowing his head in shame. It's not stupid, Naruto. It's a good idea. I was about to suggest the same thing, Sakura said with a giggle. Really? Sakura, you think so? Naruto said, a blush forming on his face. Yes, I think so, Naruto. It is, she said with a smile. He is cute when he gets shy, she thought. Let's get to work, she said. At Hyrule Castle Town, the rest of the Rookie Nine were looking around in wonderment at the bustling town, people going to and from markets and stores as merchants tried to sell their merchandise. Wow, look at this place. It's huge. I can't wait to try the games, Kiba yelled excitedly. I know. I can't wait to shop in the stores here, Ino said, looking at the stores with stars in her eyes. I can't wait to eat the barbecue here, Choji said, gazing at the restaurants. This isn't a vacation, guys, Shino said. Oh come on, Hino. Lighten up a little. It's not every day we get out of the village. Ino said, waving Shino irritably. Shino's right, Ino. We have a mission to do, so let's get to our client. Shiken, can you take us to your king? Shikamaru said, looking over to Shiken. Yes, that won't be a problem. Follow me, Shiken said monotonously. He led them through the packed streets to the magnificent castle to which every member minus Shino gawked at in wonderment. Guards. Lower the bridge, Shiken said to one of the guards. Yes sir, but why are there kids with you? The guard asked. They are warriors from a country where my tribe is from. And they have been trained since they were kids, so don't judge because they are young. They can easily kill 10 knights before being struck down themselves, and they are not even the strongest members nor the most experienced. Shiken said sternly. Yes, sorry sir. Open the drawbridge. The guard yelled, clanking his spear on the ground. The bridge slowly clanked down until it was on the ground right at the group's feet. Come, Shiken said, and started walking across the bridge with the group not too far behind. Two guards opened the doors and put their fists against their chest plates as a salute to their officer. Shiken acknowledged them with a nod and continued on through the door in the room. On the other side, the walls had long red curtains and blue banners, and as they walked on, they noticed a royal blue rug that stretched upstairs to the other side of the room to a wall with three triangles lined together to make one big one. In the center, in a wooden chair, sat a man. He wore a red cloak trimmed in a white and black patterns. He had white pants on and wore a blue shirt. The man had a snow-white beard and wore a crown. Shiken bowed down on one knee. My king, I They return with the help you have requested, Shiken said. You have done well, Shiken, you may leave, the king of Hyrule spoke a regal voice. Thank you, my king, Shiken said, getting up and leaving. The group bowed down to show respect, but as they did so, the king raised his hand. There will be no need for that, youngins. I am not your king, so you don't need to bow down to me, the king said. You may not be our king, but we will show respect as such, Shikamaru said. Ho ho ho, I like you, youngins. Such respect. What are your names? The king asked. My name is Shikamaru Nara. My name is Ino Yamamaka. Choji Akamaiki. Kiba Inazuka, and this is Akamaru, Kiba said, gesturing to his hood where Akamaru poked his head out and hid back inside his hood. Shino Aberm, Shino said plainly. There are more of us. But some of us got lost in the woods surrounding the southeast side of your kingdom. Their names are Naruto Uzumaki and Sakura Haruno. Kakashi Hatake and Hinata Hyuga are searching for them currently. Naruto and Sakura got lost looking for firewood, Shikamaru said. The king nodded his head in understanding. It is quite easy to get lost in the lost woods. Your friends have more than likely been found by the Kokiri. They are children who can never grow old. They are watched over by a wise spirit called the Deku Tree. It is very wise and has protected Hyrule's forests for generations. It has never harmed anyone without malicious intent in their souls. Anyone with an evil heart will find themselves thrown out of the forest or their path blocked entirely, the king said. Okay. Thank you for telling us that bit of information, sir, Shikamaru said. You may leave now. Do enjoy the town. The citizens will treat you well and my servants will prepare rooms for your stay on the duration of your mission, the king said with a kind smile. The rookie 9 nodded and left the room to the castle. In the Kokiri forest. I'm finished, Sakura. Check it out, Naruto said, showing Sakura his mask. Sakura looked at the mask. The mask had a long nose like most fox masks. It was white and had orange and black lines going down it from the muzzle to the lower part of the mask. The eyes were blue and had no holes, meaning the eye were transparent. Wow, Naruto. That is really good. Where did you learn to do this? Sakura asked. An old man back in the leaf taught me how to make masks and decorate them before I met you at the park for the first time. He was so kind to me. He was like a grandfather figure to me. He died a week before I met you. He told me he was on See a ninja when the second Hokage was alive and made masks to pass the time, Naruto said, looking down sadly, remembering the time he spent with the kind old man. Naruto, I'm sorry that happened to you, Sakura said, feeling bad and wasn't sure what to say. It's okay, Sakura. I met you, and you are the best person I have ever met and the person I love, and that brought me out of my depression, Naruto said, turning away with a blush on his face. I almost told her I loved her, Naruto thought. Was he about to say he loved me? No, what am I thinking? He doesn't love me. He only sees me as a friend, Sakura thought. How's yours going? Naruto asked. It's not going too well, as you can see, she said, gesturing to the pile of wrecked or not finished masks. Here, how about you take this one? I usually make more than one in case the first doesn't turn out too good, Naruto said, laughing lightly as he handed her the plain white fox mask. Sakura took the mask. Thank you, Naruto, she said. Do you want me to help you make a design on it? He asked, hoping to use the opportunity to get closer to her. Yes, I would like that, she said with a smile, also rather fond of the idea because it would mean they were going to be close together. She went to the table and sat in the chair. Naruto came up from behind and grabbed the paintbrush. Okay, what colors would you like? He asked, looking at her. Pink and red would be nice, she said, enjoying him being in close proximity to her. He nodded and got to work. He painted the lines in the same locations as his. When he was done with the lines, he painted the eyes the same color as hers. He told her to try it on. She did, and she noticed the eyes on this mask were transparent too. Great job, Naruto. The mask is beautiful, she said, taking off the mask. Hey, it's no problem, Sakura. Anything for you, he said. Anything, huh? She said as her face leaned closer to Naruto's. When her lips made contact, Naruto's eyes widened for a few seconds, his mind going haywire. She was kissing him. The girl he had a crush on was kissing him. He was the happiest man on the planet. Finally, his mind caught up and he returned the kiss, pouring all of the passion and love for her into the kiss. Sakura's pav. My heart was doing backflips when he didn't return the kiss at first, and I was about to pull back and apologize when he suddenly returned the kiss in full. I almost cried from how much heart and soul was poured into his kiss. I had loved Naruto since the day he protected me from the bullies, and it has grown in the years from the academy to our graduation. I had grown to love him more every day I was with him. Hinata often said if I didn't say anything about my feelings, she would tell Naruto herself about it. She had been right this whole time about Naruto. He did like me. My thoughts were interrupted when the need for air arose and we both separated, our foreheads touching. Wow, Sakura, you don't know how long I have wanted to do that, he said. I love you, Naruto. I have for a long time, since our days at the academy, I said as I giggled. I love you too. I always have and always will, Naruto said with a smile full of love and devotion. I guess that means we're together now, he said with a smile. Yes, we are, I said with as much love as I could pour in, and I kissed him again. We kissed as long as we could. Hey, Naruto Nisan and Sakura Nichan. The forest ceremony is starting, they heard Saria's voice shout out excitedly. We both groaned in annoyance. We will finish this later, he said as he got up. I nodded reluctantly. I finally got my man, but I will have to wait just a little longer. He held his hand out to pull me up. I grabbed his hand and pulled me up. Let's go, he said. I nod and we walk out of the hole that serves as our door. Normal pav. The newly made couple walk out of the tree house and see the Kokiri village buzzing with activity. All the Kokiri were dancing and singing. And wearing masks they made for the ceremony. Sakura thought it was really cute when she saw it. She and Naruto both jump off the balcony that was on their little tree house given to them by the Kokiri. When they got up the hill and walked over, all the Kokiri ran over to them with smiles. Nisan and Nichan, you made it, they yelled. Hey, you wouldn't think we would miss your ceremony, now would ya? Naruto said, ruffling one of the Kokiri's hair. Both he and Sakura had grown to love them like an older sibling would love a younger sibling, and the Kokiri vice versa. How have you guys been? I haven't been able to talk to any of you guys because we all have been so busy preparing for the ceremony, Sakura said, hugging one of them. Yeah, how have you guys been doing? Naruto said. We have been fine, Nisan. I just wish Link was here. If he was, I would tell him that I was sorry, said Mido, his head going down until he felt someone put their hand on his shoulder. He looked up and saw Naruto kneeling down to his level. Listen, Mido. We will find him and bring him back to you guys. You learned your lesson, okay, and it is a promise of a lifetime, Naruto said with a reassuring smile. Thank you, Nisan, Mido said, hugging Naruto like a little brother would. And you also learned not to make fun of Sakura if you know what's good for you, Naruto whispered into Mido's ear. Yeah, I sure did, Nisan. Nichan can be really scary when she's angry, Mido said. While this was going on, Sakura was watching the scene, fond of Naruto and Mido's relationship. It seemed Mido really looked up to Naruto. Somewhere in the desert, Ganondorf was sitting in a large royal chair in his desert fortress, his women guards waiting for his call for help. Not that he would ever need it, but it amused him and they served other purposes. He let loose a deep throaty laugh with a grin. Oh, it is good to be king, Ganondorf thought. An image slid into the room, disturbing Ganondorf. He frowned. What is it? He asked the ghostly shadow. My lord, we found 2 ninja from the elemental lands in the Kokiri forest. What should we do? The shadow said, opening its red eyes to look at Ganondorf. Kill them and make sure there is no more interference from the ninja, Ganondorf said sternly. Yes, my lord, the shadow said. Oh, and Link, enjoy your visit home and make sure no one survives, Ganondorf said. As you wish, my lord. Link said before disappearing. Ganondorf laughter echoed off the walls of the room. Back in Kokiri Forest. Hey Naruto and Sakura, are you guys enjoying the ceremony? Saria asked. Yes, we are Saria. How about you? Sakura asked, leaning forward onto the table, smiling to Saria. I'm having a blast, Saria said with a laugh. Hey Naruto and Sakura, come and dance with us, Mido said. Hang on, Mido. We're coming, Naruto said. This ceremony thing's going off without a hitch, huh Sakura? Naruto said to Sakura as they both got up and started walking to the group to dance with them. Yes. It's going better than expected, Sakura said. Finally, they reached the group. The singing got more cheerful and everyone began to dance more wildly. A figure sat in the trees. His eyes glowing red in the darkness and his pointed hat blowing in the gentle breeze. Suddenly, he disappeared. Naruto and Sakura were dancing, having the time of their life until their trained ears heard. SSS's shish. Everyone. Get down now. Naruto yelled as both he and Sakura dove to the ground, bringing with them as many Kokiri children down with them as they could to protect them from the simultaneous explosions. After the explosions ended, Naruto and Sakura got up, looking for any sign of the person or thing responsible when they saw a shadowed figure standing up. Everyone. Take cover in the houses now. Naruto ordered. All the Kokiri ran away into the houses, scared out of their minds. All except one. I'm not leaving Nissan. This guy has to pay for what he's done, Mido said. Mido. This is not the time for you to be brave. Go hide with the others now, Naruto said. But, Mido started. Now, Naruto yelled, scaring Mido. He had never seen him like this. Okay, I'm going. Kick his ass, Mido said as he ran off to hide. Elsewhere in the forest. Ba-bang. What was that? Hinata asked looking in the direction of the sound. Let's go check it out, Kakashi said. With that, they both leapt off to where the explosion came from at top speed. Back at the Kokiri village. The figure in the shadows slowly raised his hand. My lord wants you dead, the man said, opening his eyes which were glowing red as he slowly drew his sword and a shield. TCH. Give it your best shot, Sakura said, her hands glowing a slight blue from chakra gathering. Bring it on you bastard. Naruto yelled, bringing his hand into a cross sign. I intend to, the man said with a sneer before charging the duo at alarming speeds which both could barely keep up with. Naruto and Sakura were dancing, having the time of their life until their trained ears heard. SSS's shish. Everyone. Get down now. Naruto yelled as both he and Sakura dove to the ground, bringing with them as many Kokiri children down with them as they could to protect them from the simultaneous explosions. After the explosions ended, Naruto and Sakura got up, looking for any sign of the person or thing responsible. They saw a shadowed figure standing up. Everyone. Take cover in the houses now, Naruto ordered. All the Kokiri ran away into the houses, scared out of their minds. All except one. I'm not leaving Nissan. This guy has to pay for what he's done, Mido said. Mido. This is not the time for you to be brave. Go hide with the others now, Naruto said. But, Mido started. Now, Naruto yelled, scaring Mido. He had never seen him like this. Okay, I'm going. Kick his ass Naruto, Mido said as he ran off to hide. Elsewhere in the forest. Ba-bang. What was that? Hinata asked looking in the direction of the sound. Let's go check it out, Kakashi said. With that, they both leapt off to where the explosion came from at top speed. Back at the Kokiri village. The figure in the shadows slowly raised his hand. My lord wants you dead. The man said, opening his eyes which were glowing red as he slowly drew his sword and a shield. TCH. Give it your best shot, Sakura said, her hands glowing a slight blue from chakra gathering. Bring it on you bastard. Naruto yelled, bringing his hand into a cross sign. I intend to, the man said with a sneer before charging the duo at alarming speeds which both could barely keep up with. Chapter 7 The Fallen Hero. Currently, the duo prepared themselves as best they could to prepare themselves as they tried to keep their eyes on the man ran at them. The man charged across the field kicking up a trail of dust as he ran. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Naruto yelled. 20 clones proofed into existence. Let's get him guys. One of the clones exclaimed. And they roared in approval and they charged at the man letting out battle cries. The man ran right into the group of clones cutting through them as if the clones weren't even there, with all clones dester. Oid the man continued unscathed and undeterred in the slightest bit. Naruto's eyes widened at this. The clones didn't even slow him down. He reached into his weapons pouch and pulled out 2 kunai. ND held them in front of him in a defensive stance as the man got closer. Naruto get back, Sakura yelled, pulling out a kunai with an explosive tag and threw it at the man as Naruto jumped back. The man continued running at the duo. He ran near the explosive tag. He stopped when he saw the tag on fire. He looked like he was confused then jumped back just as the tag exploded. TCH you call that an explosion? Let me show you an explosion worth talking about, the man said pulling out a mouse-shaped device and threw it to the ground and it traveled to Sakura at incredible speed. Sakura rolled out F the way, not leaving anything to chance as the device rolled by into a hollow tree trunk and exploded. Sakura raised her arms to shield herself from the explosion. She then ducked from an attack that would have taken her head. He's fast, she thought. As the sword passed within inches of her face, small strands of her hair were sliced off. The man smirked as he rammed his shield, knocking Sakura AC. Oopal meters off the ground. These two are weak, the man thought. As the girl's body landed on the ground, he walked to the dazed girl. The man felt something hit him, grinding his stomach. Rasengan. Naruto yelled. Arg, forgot about that brat, the man thought as the jutsu threw the dark man into a tree with a gaping hole blown through him. He slumped forward, dead. Turn in Sakura's direction. Naruto ran to her side. Sakura, you okay? Naruto said, helping Sakura stand. Yeah, I'm okay, she said, her vision doubled. He had hit her hard with that shield. She'd have healed the damage when the effects of the concussion fade and when she could focus to him, helping for support as they walked to a nearby tree and sat down next to a nearby tree. Naruto looked at the motionless body of the man he had beaten. Quote, Sakura, that man was unbelievably strong. He didn't use any chakra. And he still threw us around like we were nothing. It was luck that I even hit him with the Rasengan, Naruto said, still looking at the body. I'm happy you're okay. He was about to kill you when I hit him with the Rasengan, Naruto said as he turned to look at Sakura. Well, I guess I had better thank my hero then, she said as she leaned forward. She saw the man right behind Naruto. Naruto, look out, Sakura yelled. Naruto turned just in time to see the man and pushed Sakura away. She could only watch in horror as the man slashed him across the chest. Naruto, Sakura yelled as he fell in a small pool of blood. Tears started to fall as she saw her boyfriend bleed. Meanwhile, with Kakashi and Hinata moving as fast as their legs can carry them, they had heard two more explosions far off in the distance. Naruto, Sakura, I hope you guys are okay. I can't lose anyone else. Please be okay, Kakashi thought. As the two ran, the didn't Nodak. A man watching them. He then disappeared into the darkness. Hinata looked back. Is something wrong, Hinata? Kakashi asked, looking at Hinata. I don't know, I thought I saw someone watching us, Hinata said to Kakashi. In that case we had better be careful, Kakashi said. Hinata nodded and the two continued their run. With Naruto and Sakura. I'm going to kill you, she said, shaking. She began to feel a burning sensation on her left hand. The man began to laugh only to stop, seeing her left hand glowing. Then he saw it. The Triforce of Wisdom glowing in her left hand. His eyes widened in shock. She has the Triforce of Wisdom. How is that possible? It was said Zelda was to have it. No, that doesn't matter. This will further my master's plans if I bring her in alive, the man thought. Sakura liste. End to me, child. Naruto is not dead, but you need to hurry. His life force is weakening, a voice said. Who said that? Sakura said, looking around. That is not important. You need to hurry. Look out, the voice yelled. Sakura turned, but it was too late. You should not take your eyes off your enemy, the man said with his sword held ready to cleave Sakura in two. Sakura closed her eyes when she heard the sound of metal clashing. She opened her eyes and saw another man blocking the other man's sword with his sword with a red trenchcoat with a phoenix emblem and flames outlining the bottom with wearing black pants, black boots. He had black hair with a long black headband around his forehead with determined look in his blue eyes. Newcomers Pav. So you have moved on to killing kids now. Is that it, Link? It's a shame you have fallen that low. Joining Ganondorf wasn't, but also destroying my village wasn't enough for you too, the man asked in an emotionless tone. Hey, look who Desi. Dead to join, or should I say Roy Gale? So we have introductions out of the way, Link said in a tone that reminded Sakura of Orochimaru. I'm going to make sure you don't hurt anyone ever again, my father. R may have taught you, but after what you have done I can never forgive you for what you have done and what you have done to me and my village, Roy said, locking eyes with Link. Sakura could have sworn she saw Roy's eyes turn slitted and were back to normal. Hey, that village was nothing to me. My lord wished it destroyed and I did just that. Those weak insects thought they could stop me, especially your sister. Oh, how fun it was to kill her, Link said with glee in his red eyes. Roy's eyes just showed a flicker of anger as he remembered that night. Sapporo village 5 years ago. Rosa, please hang on. I'm going to take you to the king. He will have somebody there to heal you, a 12-year-old Roy said, tears falling from his eyes. Roy, you and I both know that is not likely, so please don't cry. I finally get to see him again, so live your life, Roy, and be happy, little brother, Rosa said with a small smile, caressing Roy's face till she stopped breathing. Her hand dropped lifelessly on the ground. Rosa, please wake up, Roy said, crying. Looks like there's a survivor, my lord. What should we do? Roy turned around and his eyes widened in fear, saw a man in all black with glowing red eyes and Ganondorf. What should we do, my lord? Should we kill him? Link asked, looking over to Ganondorf. No, I have a fate worse than death for this one, Ganondorf said with a smirk. He held his hand out in front. Of him it began to glow a bright blue then turned black before shooting out and hitting Roy in the chest forming a swirling seal on his right shoulder. Roy screamed in pain as he fell to his knees. His body felt like it was on fire, his bones felt like they were made of glass as they reshaped with load snapping as they reshaped in the most painful way possible, his mouth bleed as his teeth fell out and gave way to way newer sharper ones, he felt his face push out into a muzzle, his nails fell of as his hands gave way to claws. Then felt his ears move to the top of his head and that when the dark abyss of unconsciousness welcomed him. Present day. You will pay for what you have done to her and to the people you murdered, she loved you, Roy said pointing his sword at Link. I swear I can't allow anyone else to suffer and you will never lay your hands on the Triforce as long as I stand, Roy said. Well, I guess I'm going to have to fix that now, won't I? Link sneered. Sakura list. End to the confrontation, unsure if Roy was going to help her or not, but that didn't matter, she had to get Naruto out of there even with the Cubus chakra he was bleeding out fast, she had to get to high M without drawing the fighter's attention. You girl, get the kid and get out of here. If you can treat him, do it when he's out of the line of fire. I will do my best to keep Link from getting to you. He is after your Triforce, so grab the boy and run and hide. I will explain everything I know about it later, Roy ordered. Sakura nodded after grabbed Naruto and she leapt up to the trees and landed on a branch and run till she felt she was at a safe enough distance. She stopped and gently laid Naruto on his back and immediately started working on saving Naruto's life. He was running out of time. He wasn't healing fast enough, she was losing him. No, Naruto, please don't leave me, Sakura said as tears were coming to her eyes. Use my light to heal him, a voice said. As her Triforce lit up in her healing jutsu glow, a golden light quickly healing his wound with no scaring. Now completely exhausted, Sakura fell forward. Who are you? Sakura said before her eyes closed. All in good time, Sakura, you still not ready, the voice said before unconsciousness sweet embrace took her. Former comrades fight. With Roy and Link. Both stood several yards away from each other waiting for the other to make the first move. After a moment Link finally had enough and began running at Roy. Roy ran toward Link. In response both swung their respective swords in a resounding clash, Roy being the stronger of the two pushed Link back and swung while Link was off balance and Link was able to barely dodge it but got cut across the chest. You'll pay for that, Link hissed in rage and swung aiming take Roy's head off. Roy ducked under the strike. Link kneed Roy in the head before he could strike, thus knocking him back. Oh surely you could do better, Roy, you were supposed to be my equal, Link mocked. Roy silently got wiping the blood off his lip as he got up. Link swung again to take off Roy's head only for Roy to block it. Roy then tried to strike Link across his midsection. Link blocked it with his shield. Roy kicked Link's shide and knocked Link back into a tree, burying Link's shide into the bark of the tree. When Link tried freeing his shide he was unable to. Roy ran to finish Link off but Link used his sword to cut the straps on his shide, freeing his arm and ran at Roy, clashing swords with him, and a shock wave reverberated around the two. Link, why did you join Ganondorf? You said you were going to save ever. Yonso, why? My sister loved you, so why did you do it? What does Ganondorf want with Hyrule? Roy said, his voice thick with emotion. Link's red eyes flashed with anger. I don't have to explain anything to you, Link said to Roy before they broke away from each other. But since you survived this long I might as well tell you what Ganondorf wants. He only wanted to test the strength of his army. Taken. Hyrule was a distant second till the other holders were. He will go after the elemental countries now that we have found the holder of the Triforce of Wisdom. I had known where the Triforce of Courage was the time, because back then I was a weak-minded fool who thought this kingdom needed to be saved. Before Ganondorf freed me I sent it to one of the elemental countries, but till that person shows himself as another, Link said. You are not going to touch the girl because I will stop you, Roy said. As he swung his sword at Link, Link blocks his attack. Then try to stop me, Link said. As he kicks Roy, catching Roy by surprise and runs into the woods. Shit, Roy says as pursues Link. Meanwhile, Naruto woke up. He sat up with a groan coming out of his throat. His chest stung slightly, but he had felt worst from the villages. Wow, I'm alive, what a shocker, at least I'm not dead, he said dryly as he got up. He looked over and saw Sakura lying down unconscious next to where he was laying down previously. Sakura. He moved himself by Sakura's side and cradled her body to his. I'm sorry, he said, holding her as she opened her eyes. Idiot, it was not your fault. I'm just lucky I could save you. If I get chakra exhaustion every time, then it was worth it, she said with a smile. Look what I found, a couple of bugs. Now move away from the girl, boy, and I will let you live. Both Naruto and Sakura turn and see Link. Never, Naruto says. Naruto gets to his feet and stands defiantly despite still recovering from his wounds to protect Sakura. The Triforce of Courage shine on his wrist. Sakura stood as she saw this. Whatever Sakura did to heal me, I'm not totally recovered, Naruto thought. So he has it to now, we won't have to waste time looking for both, Link thought. Naruto, your mark is glowing, Sakura said. Naruto had seen it, he was surprised, but he kept his eye on Link. He could not afford to lose sight of him. I will help you in this fight, but only once, a voice said to Naruto and saw. Kura. Then Sakura's Triforce began to glow again. As the light began to take a person's shape, a woman's to be exact. She had long dark blonde hair, she had fair skin and wore a light pink dress gown and the bottom was a blue banner with the Triforce on it. Zelda. Link breathed. So you finally showed yourself after all these years. Zelda, my lord was looking all over to use you to convince that foe. OL of a king to give up. Looks like that makes things easier, Link said. Zelda said nothing as her hands channeled light into a rapier and held it out in front of her with one hand in a fencing stance. So you think you can fight me, Zelda? Well, what would I be if I refused? Link said, charging at Zelda. No, your fight is with me, Link, Roy said as he punched him hard on the jaw, knocking Link several meters away. And Roy stood between Link and Zelda and the two ninja. The three looked ready to join the fight, but Roy held his hand out. This is my fight, I have a score to settle with this murder, Roy said, not taking his eyes off Link. What, are you serious? This guy is too strong, me and Sakura couldn't take him out. What makes you think you could take him? Naruto said. Exasperated. I guess I will. I'll have to try my best then, so if you know what's good for you, you will stay out of this fight, Roy said, getting annoyed, looking over at Naruto. Naruto looked ready to join in anyway, but Zelda put her hand in front of him. Let's respect his wish, Naruto. Well, help him if things look bad, Zelda said. Roy nodded in thanks and turned his attention back to Link. Had just gotten up. Looks like I will Way to go through you then, Roy. You always did find more ways to annoy me, Link said in annoyance. Roy only stood wait for Link to make the first move. Link then smirked. As long dragon made of lava swoo. P down with roar. Link jumped onto the dragon, not even getting burned from the lava. But as much as I would like to get rid of a troublesome pest, but I'm going to deny you the fight you want, Link said. And the dragon soared back to the Kokiri village, breathing fire into the tree houses. No. Naruto and Sakura yelled, running to the Kokiri village. Naruto and Sakura ran as fast as their legs could carry them. They could still see dragon in the distance flying away from the area, but they didn't care if the dragon was there or not. For the 2 weeks they had stayed there, they had immediately grew to love the Kokiri like they were siblings. Naruto, Sakura, wait. Roy said. They didn't listen, they kept running, cursing to himself. Wait. Zelda said, stopping Roy before he could run after them. What is it, Zelda? He said, turning around and saw particles of light were coming off of her as parts of her were disappearing. What is happening to you? He asked in shock at what he was seeing. Zelda Moshio. Ned him to come closer. He immediately complied. I have stayed too long. Drawing that sword drew a lot of energy from me, and the gods are drawing me back into the Triforce of Wisdom, and I don't have much long, so I need you to give this to those two, Zelda said, looking at Roy with a solemn face as she put a blue ocarina into his gloved hand. What is this? He asked, looking at her with a questioning look. It is the Ocarina of Time. It must be given to the pink-haired child Sakura. She will know how to use it. Give it to her. She will lead the blonde one to the Sword of Evil's bane. The Master Sword. Roy breathed. He nodded. I understand, Princess. Despair, that is all the two felt as they desperately ran to the village. They could see the flames the dragon blew engulf the tree villa. That the Kokiri had built for years, all of it now a blazing inferno. The two could feel the scorching heat from the flames even from the distance they were at. Tears falling freely as they continued to run to the village. They could hear the screams of agony as the children who were hiding inside their homes would find their homes were now a fiery inferno with no way of escape. Mido was running through the village with Saria close behind him, her home being destroyed by the initial explosions by the start of that monster rampage whom his surrogate brother and sister were fighting hard to protect. All of them from that monster. He had led everyone of his kinsmen he could find to the safety of their homes and told them to not open their doors for anyone until either he, Naruto, or Sakura told them it was safe. He was scared, but he had to make sure everyone was safe. He was their leader since the great Deku Tree died. He might have acted like a bully to them before Link left, but Link's departure years ago had changed him. He vowed he would help any time his kin needed it, and when Link returned he would show him how SRRY he was. Now is not the time to be thinking about that, he thought to himself as he ran. He looked back at Saria. Her green hair clung to her face from the perspiration on it. She was the oldest one out of all the Kokiri, with him not too far behind. He loved her, but because he had been the cause of Link running away, he didn't deserve her. He would never deserve her. Come on, hurry, Saria. He yelled and prompted her to hurry. They were close to his house but they didn't know how. The fight was going but he prayed to the gods that his surrogate brother and sister were strong enough to stop the guy that was attacking his home. As they were closing in on his house they heard a fenning roar overhead as they both looked up and saw a dragon made entirely of lava flying toward their village at high speed. "Oh gods," he said as he saw it come closer and spew fire from its mouth at the houses as it passed by them, igniting them like tinder boxes, trapping a majority of the Kokiri inside their homes before setting its sights on Saria and Mido. "No, I can't let it hurt her," Mido said to himself. They were close enough for Mido to shove Saria inside, but could he do it in time was the thought. He saw that the dragon along with its passenger were gaining ground quickly, so with a thought for himself he pushed Saria forward into the house and not a moment later he felt smoldering claws cut through his back, knocking him to the ground, his vision blearing, his body felt numb. As on the verge of losing consciousness he lay there as the dragon flew over him, doing nothing else, apparently satisfied knowing it had possibly ended his life, and flew into the night. All was quiet. Not that he could hear much, everything was dulled as he laid there too weak to move. "At least I saved her," were his thoughts before Saria ran out and saw him. "Saria's pav. After Mido pushed me in into the house after I had hit the ground I heard a cry of pain. I got up and ran out of the house. I immediately saw Mido on the ground with 3 cauterized claw marks on his back. Mido, I yell and run to his prone form and kneel down. The wounds on his back were charred from the heat of the dragon and around the charring were blistered and bloody. I have to find Naruto and Sakura, they could help him. But before I could go to find them I heard the sound of feet hitting dirt. I look and see 2 people standing not too far from me. Who are you? I asked. They both look at me and that's when I see he same style of headbands Naruto and Sakura wear. They know Naruto and Sakura, they can help me. We are here to help. My name is Kakashi Hatake. Who might you be? The taller one said with his head ND slanted over his left eye, looking at her calmly. His eye gave a comforting look to her. Please help him, she pleaded, showing them Mido's prone form. Damn, this looks bad, she heard the man curse. Hina. Stay here and take care of his injuries. I am going to search for any survivors. Once you're done you may assist in rescue if circumstances allow it, Kakashi said. Hi, I understand, Hinata said as I watched Kakashi disappear into the village, going inside each building pulling out either a survivor or a burnt corpse. Third person Pav. Saria turned and saw Hinata walking over to Mido. She kneeled after she cut his shirt open she began inspecting the lacerations. These are deep. I'm going to have to give him stitches to stop the bleeding, but those 3rd-degree burns are not going to be easy. Hinata said more to herself than Saria before reaching into a pouch pulling medical supplies bin. Saria looked at it curiously as Hinata pulled out antibacterial ointment. She put enough on her hand to start rubbing it on one of Mido's wounds. When the ointment made contact it stung his laceration as the ointment did its job, making Mido cry out in pain. Hearing Mido cry out, Saria grabbed Hinata's hand. Stop, you're hurting him, she said. Hinata looked at her, features soft. If I don't do this it could get infected and he could die. Now let me help him, Hinata told her gently. Saria's grip loosened before finally letting go. Hinata finished putting the antibacterial ointment on Mido's lacerations. When she was finished she put it back into her pouch and grabbed a thread and needle. She looked to Mido, who looked at her nervously. Listen, I am going to need you to stay strong for me till this is done, okay? Hinata said to Mido, who nodded. Through the ordeal Mido kept calm when Hinata covered it in bandages to keep it covered. She stood up after she was finished. She looked at Saria. I am going to look for other survivors with my sensei. Keep him laying down. Any movement will reopen his laceration, which he could die of till Sakura gives a proper diagnosis. Okay, she said. Saria nodded. I understand, Saria said. Hinata ran after hearing Saria's acknowledgement. She activated her Byakugan and Seer. Jet each house. She saw Naruto and Sakura in a house pulling rubble from a Kokiri girl and pulled her out of it. Naruto, Sakura, Hinata called out as she ran to them. They both looked over to her. Hinata. The end.